happy painting. Nice to see you again. Hope you've been painting at home and having a lot of fun. We got a nice little seascape today. This is a 16 by 20 canvas. I covered it in liquid white. I put a little blue in the sky. I put a little green in the water. Give myself a head start, because we have a beautiful lighthouse to do in this one. So, now I got my background all done. I have a lighthouse and I have some seagulls. So let's get the seagulls done. Get them out of the way and spend all the rest of our time on the lighthouse. I cut out these seagulls out of contact paper. And I put them on the canvas and then painted my sky right in. Now when I lift off the contact paper, oh, there we go, I'm ready to paint them in. The easy way. I love doing things the easy way. Yes, so as soon as you find out the easy way to do something, that's the way you're going to do it. Now I'm just going to put some gray on the bottom of these seagulls. You have to thin your paint out a little to do detail. And then I'm going to come back and put some white on the top. And there's Squirt. He loves to play with my paper towel roll. Right, Squirt? I knew that was going to happen. So, a little gray at the bottom. A little white at the top. Yes. Yes, it's handy to know how to do a real quick seagull, because if you're doing seascapes, it's really nice to throw them in there. I'm not too fussy. Just want to get them blocked in. Right, Squirt? That's Squirt, my sidekick. Comes to all my classes in the studio. Entertains us. Talks like the dickens. Makes us all laugh. Gets on TV and doesn't say a word. Right, Squirt? That's how you go, yeah. He's holding out for union wages, I think. He wants his Actors Guild card or something. I don't know. Okay, got myself a little gray at the bottom. Let me go for some white. Thin it down a little. Because if you put too much thinner in it, then you're in trouble. Somewhere there's a happy medium between too much thinner and not enough. You see, I always brace my hand on the side of the canvas when I'm doing detail work. Something to lean my working hand on, just to steady it. Okay, let's get these guys thrown in there. I want to spend most of my time on the lighthouse. Now the lighthouse is really a Rhode Island landmark. It's the Plum Beach Lighthouse that we've all been looking at. It hangs over the Jamestown Bridge there. On the left as you're going over. And there's a movement now to restore it. After all, it is a Rhode Island landmark. I've been looking at it all my life. So I really like to help with the efforts to restore that lighthouse. And actually, and all the lighthouses we have in New England, we should be taking care of them. Yes, sir. Let's put a little on this guy. Squirt, you haven't even asked for your peanut yet, huh? Usually by now you're begging for one. Okay, get a little white on the top. If I send you the directions, if you write to me, ask for painting 71, I'll send you the materials list and the directions for this painting, and the patent comes. The patent of the lighthouse and the seagulls come with that. So you don't have to fuss over those guys. Okay, I can come back and fuss with them later if I want to, but let's see what this lighthouse looks like under this contact paper, and let's get to work on it. Because now we have a lot of detail. There it is, ready to go. Oh, it has a little top too. Let's see what the top looks like. Oh, there we go. So let's start putting color in. We're going to block in the big areas. In fact, I'll switch to a little bigger brush. A little bigger brush just to block in the areas. The first thing I'm going to do is put light on the light side. So I'm going to use titanium white. I'll put a speck of ochre in it because I really don't want it to be pure white right now. And come up here and put light on the light side. So the little hat has a light side. I call it the little hat. I really don't know what you call it. Somebody will have to tell me. Let's put light on this side. And light over here. So that's easy. This is easy. All I'm doing is putting light on the light side with my nice little flat brush. And then over here. Right, Squirt? Yes. And this is my regular trick. I put light on the light side, and I'm going to go put dark on the dark side, and then everything in the middle kind of takes care of itself. Maybe. Maybe. I'm going to go right over our guidelines for now. We'll find them again later. We know they're there. No problem. And okay, so let's move it over a little. We got it on there. Might want to get a little more paint on there. Okay. Light on the light side. Let's put some dark on the dark side. And my dark is going to be, well, it's a combination of, I got a little black and I've got some teal, which I made with phthalo blue and dark sienna. And I'm going to call that my dark. If it looks too green, I might back up to a little more black in it. So, dark on the dark side. I'm making the brush do the work, see, of that straight edge. I never try to paint in a straight edge because my hand wobbles. It won't work. Actually, the best way to get a straight edge I've ever found is by using your knife. That's the best way. And dark on the dark side. And dark on the dark side. Choo, choo. And dark on the dark side of the little hat. The little hat. And the little ball on top of the little hat. Okay, got the dark in. You know, the inside of this little hat's going to be all dark. Let me come back and just fill that in. I'll just switch to a smaller brush, that's all. And I'm into the black and the teal. And we'll fill that in and that'll be over with. We don't have to go back there. Once I pass something, I hate going back to it. I just want to call it done. That's it. When it's done, it's done. Well, got a little bigger there. Okay, no problem. Alright, now we've got the light side done and the dark side done. We got to put some color in the middle. And the color in the middle, well, we're just going to pick and choose. I think we could take a little gray, mix it in with our white and ochre, and maybe call that the middle color. That looks pretty good. So I just want to get some paint on there. Get some paint on there. It'll all take care of itself in a minute. I have a plan. Got to thin the paint down a little or it won't come off the brush. Right. We have a plan. You know, I ought to get some color tucked in under there, up top. So I'm switching back and forth between the big brush and the little brush. Let's get this over with our little detail brush. And just get it over with, that's all. Right, Squirt? Right, Squirt? Yes. We have painted this in the studio, and it came out so good. I was so pleased with us. Everybody's picture came out looking, wow, really good. So you can paint detail. Just get yourself some little detail brushes. You can do it. I don't care what brush you use when you're painting as long as it does the job. That's what I say. So you find the brush that does the job, and that's that. I'm going to go for my little stomper. You know my little, I have these little stompers. I have them in several sizes from small to big. And let's start with the big one. I'm just going to tap in on that white. Now I don't want to mess the edge up. I don't want to go back there. And then the gray and white I might just tap together. That's a neat little trick. And then I'm tapping the gray. And then I'm over here and I'll tap the gray and the dark together. And the whole thing starts to look round, more or less. I don't want to go too near the edge. I don't want to mess that up because I don't want to do the edge again. The edge is done and the whole thing starts to look round. Maybe. It does. It starts to look round. And I'm going to do the same thing up here. Tap, 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 tap. I don't want to mess up the outside edges, but I don't really care about the inside edges. They'll take care of themselves. Let's switch to a very tiny little stomper and just tap the ball. Get the white on here, move it over to the dark and tap it together. Ooh, that works. I love things that work. And then down in here, I suppose we should tap that a little bit too. Let's see, medium size might just do that trick. Okay. Now we got a head start on the shape and the form of that lighthouse. Well, that couldn't have been any easier. The next thing I'm going to do this lighthouse is scrape a little color on there that I think of as rust, because we know that the Palm Beach Lighthouse, Squirt, do you know, has a lot of rust on it. So I'm going to use my knife. This is alizarin and ochre. Suppose I just scrape the smallest amount of paint on there. Whatever comes off the brush, the knife comes off, that's fine. Whatever doesn't, doesn't. And the lighthouse has like metal plates on it, so it's okay that we see these little squares coming up, because it does have them. And we might want to put a little rust up top. I'll just switch to the little edge of the knife. Well, maybe we can do it this way too. Put a little up there, and maybe put a little up here. So a light scrape, and it'll come off the knife, and that's it. We got that. It's a rusty bucket now. I've got a little mop brush. I'll give it a few taps. Calm it down a little. Soften it up a little. Don't want to break the edge. I'm always worried about that. Okay, good. So we're ready to switch to detail here. So let's fill out the bottom, and then we'll have that done too. And we'll be on a roll. Let's see. I'll go for my bigger brush. We're all set. I'm going to go into that dark teal and black. Teal and black. Okay, and just put that in there. So now you can just paint in the shape. You know, like you always like to paint things in. You don't like to use your knife. And the little tricks with the brushes. Well, now you have my permission. Paint that in. Okay. Just paint that in. There's a little shadow there. I'm going to leave space for the highlight. Okay. Got that put in, right, Squirt? Squirt, how come you haven't asked for a peanut yet? I'm worried now. Huh? Don't you think you'd like one? Here I am, I want to... Oh, or would you like a cookie? Isn't he terrible? He won't even talk to me. You want a cookie? I have a cookie. Okay, got that painted in. Now, that's the highlight, that's the shadow. And you know what we're going to do in the middle? We're going to take the little stomper. We'll stomp around. And where the two colors meet, you get in there and you stomp your little heart out. Oh, I think I'll just go all the way over and stomp the dock a little too, so that I don't have to look at the brush strokes. No, and no one will know how we did that because they won't be able to see the brush strokes. Okay, got that done. And better put a little rust on there too. Yep, a little rust on there too. So I'm here with my little rusty knife. That's my rusty knife. And wow, we better get out there and fix this lighthouse up. It's got serious rust problem right now. That's looking good. So, as long as we're filling things in, let's fill in the rock base. And the rock base is simply going to be Van Dyke brown. Or brown and black a little. On the bottom. Oh, let's see. On the bottom, on the bottom, on the bottom, on the bottom. So the rocks are very dark on the bottom. Not too fussy. You never see me be too fussy. Because perfect doesn't count. I love that about painting. You know, if you were maybe sketching or if you were a draftsman, then perfect would count, but in the painting world, it doesn't. On the top of the rock, just get a little lighter brown, that's all. And put the rock right in front of the little building. Easy as can be. Just make them any way you want to make them. I make them up. Make it up in there, and make it up in there. Okay, I got rocks. Easy as can be. As long as I'm down there looking at those rocks. Fix that up. I'm looking at them, so I'm going to take some Van Dyke brown on my 1-inch brush and just do that little reflection trick that we do in our landscapes. Down in the water. And take a nice flat brush. Pull them sideways a little, just to get a little color of that lighthouse in the water. Whoops, there's a traveling little thing. Okay. Down there, you know, the easiest way to finish that off is to put a water line there, take a speck of phthalo blue, and some liquid white. Look out for phthalo blue, it goes a long way. Wow. And put a little liquid white on the bottom of your knife. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Easy as can be. That's the waterline trick. Once you learn how to do the waterline trick, boy, you can have all kinds of effects happening. I know you can do that. That's easy. So if you send me your name, your address, and a stamped self-addressed envelope and ask for painting 71, I can send this to you. I can send you the directions and the materials list, and you'll be off doing it on your own. Right, Squirt? There's a pattern, so you trace the pattern on your canvas with black graphite paper. And then you trace the pattern on your contact paper and cut it out. And then you stick your contact paper over your canvas and you're ready to go. That's a smokestack. It has a smokestack. I found out. I have a friend who knows everything there is to know about lighthouses, my friend. And he says, well, there's a little stove in there to keep you warm in this lighthouse. And that's the smokestack to the little stove. Okay, and so something's got to hold this thing on. Okay, we'll put a few of those guys in. Okay, there's a lot of detail. Squirt, here. You have your cracker so that I can do my detail and you won't be picking on me like you do. Here I am. Okay, there's a rail here. Now I'm just throwing that detail in with my script liner. And you're going to be able to do that too. You just take all the time you need to take. You dropped your cookie, Squirt. Now what are you going to do? Huh? Now what are you going to do? You dropped your cookie. I'll give you a little tip. If you're one of those terribly neat people that has to have things perfect, you can wait for the painting to dry at this point. And when your painting's dry, you can come in and do your liner work. It will be just a little less stressful for you that way. Okay, if you really, really want to cheat, I shouldn't tell you this. If I tell you, you'll be doing it, I know. If you really want to cheat, you let your painting dry, get yourself a black Sharpie pen with a nice good point, and put in your black rails with the pen point and a ruler even. Oh God, I shouldn't tell you these things because I know you're going to be doing them. Then there's this, it's a framing that used to hold up an awning, I'm told. But of course the awning's not there anymore. So right now it's a deluxe seagull perch, Rhode Island style. Alright. The whole lighthouse, the seagulls say, "Thank you very much, we like to have this. It's very convenient. It's our rest stop between Jamestown and the mainland." Yeah. Right, Squirt? Well, there's been a lot of snapshots of this lighthouse taken over the years. I bet you all our visitors from out of state take a picture of this one. So, it's a pretty famous lighthouse. So, Squirt dropped his cookie, so he's in trouble now. So you've been looking up my webpage, painteasy.com, so that you can talk to me. Or send me a letter. I like letters too. Yes, the most fun we have on the farm. We have opened the mail. That's the highlight of the day some days. So here we go. Lots of those things. You got to really thin out your paint when you're trying to use your script liner. You got to have a very thin paint to get that to work. You know why I'm into this dark? I think I'm going to put a little more dark on my seagulls over here because they're looking a little wimpy. So let me come and just give them a little shadow at least. There we go. Little seagull shadow. Okay, got those guys fixed right up. Let me take my knife and put a little highlight on those rocks. Just got a little brown and white. Use the knife, scrape over the rocks, and just put a little light on top. That's all. This is easy. This is the way we put light on our mountains. We'll just put a little light on the top of the rock. Couldn't be any easier. Okay, now I've got one more thing to do. Let me go back to my small brush. My nice small little brush, and I'm going to do those rails, and I'm going to do them same with everything else. They have a dark side and a light side. Excuse me, Squirt, I'm back over here. Here's the dark side. My bird's bothering me. And there's a dark side on this one. My bird's bothering me some more. And one more shot up here. Okay, that's the dark side of those little rails, and there's a light side, so let's go for something light. Probably that off-white we used. Okay. Be nice, Squirt, one more time. Look, my brush just fits in that little place. Thank goodness. And then there's this little one. Alright. So, you notice that we're not too fussy. Anybody notice that? So, okay, so you don't have to be fussy either. A little highlight there. A little highlight here. This lighthouse is called a spark plug style. It looks like a spark plug. That's its nickname. But it's at Plum Beach. So you're a Rhode Islander, you must have looked at this one a lot. Okay, let's take one final look. That's looking good. We're ready to sign that. That's a fun picture. I know you want to do this one. And you're going to have a good time too. So happy painting. Bye-bye now.